All right. So guys, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be letting a couple people in, but we're going to be giving basically the full blueprint from data all the way through SMS to recycling data on how we use launch control. To where I guess, last we locked up 86 contracts, did a little over $1 million in gross profit with just launch control. So hopefully this is going to be the full tutorial on what you guys need to get started. If you're not already,
so make sure what we're going to do is we're going to try to do 15-minute increments, 15 minutes of data, 15 minutes roughly about launch control and how we use it. Nothing crazy. A lot of you guys might see some things you already do, but again, if you got questions, just we'll raise your hand. We'll have 30 minutes of Q&A. We broke some things down that are a little bit detailed, but a lot of this too is, you guys can easily copy some of this stuff and probably do it a little better. So what's up, Big Pat over there? I see you, Big Pat. There he is. But anyway, so yeah, Chandler, start us off with some data stuff here. So, give a brief rundown where we get our data, how we do it. Obviously it's a bunch of data. How are we sending 20,000 texts a day out? Obviously you need a bunch of different data, right? But
yeah. So exactly. So I guess it all starts with what data works the best. And so for us, the data that is working also before we get going, you just let everyone in.
Yeah, I'll let you when you're talking. Go ahead.
All right. So basically data. So we're going to start with that. It really all starts with what's working best. So that takes some trial and error over time. But what we've found that works the absolute best in the Metro Atlanta market is absentee owners with equity. So like what does that mean? It basically means someone who's owned a property for what we do is 5 years or more. And then they're also absentee owned. So basically the mailing address and the property address are different. And then also they've owned the property for more than 5 years. We get it all prop stream, pretty straightforward. And then we skip trace that and batch leads.
Batch of IDI.
Batch leads and IDI. So if anything doesn't come back, then we would put anything doesn't come back with a phone number, then we're going to put the second bit of the list into IDI. And that's kind of where it starts. So from a very simple standpoint, it's not complex at all. The one key thing that you will want to do is we break our list up into roughly 4,000 to 5,000 pieces per list, because you'll see that different campaigns or different lists will give you much better results. And that'll be important for tracking on the back end. So you can decide what data set you want to send more frequently. So that's a little bit about the data. It's really not super complex.
So go into some detail though about some other softwares we use. We use Audantic, right? I'm sure some of you guys know Audantic, but it's more AI predicted data that costs $26K a year to be a part of it in your market. But they send you, every day. Let's get to the fundamentals. Data is just coming from the county courthouse, but what Audantic does is they have a AI software that predicts when a person's most likely to sell. They use all these characteristics, credit score, blah 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 blah. But we pay for that source as well. Obviously, Chandler said prop stream. We get a lot of our stuff. Some county liens, pre-foreclosures from the county. But the big bulk, like Chandler said, the 80-20, right, where we get 80% of our results is from just hitting some straight absentee owners, right? Absentee owners with some equity on our list. But there's multiple, obviously, other lists we use because you got so much data, right? And I think what Chandler's talking about is making sure you're tracking. Sounds simple. It sounds like, hey, we're doing it. But knowing what list is going very well right now, because the market kind of changes, right? Christmas time, homeowners don't want to sell their properties, right, during the holidays because they want to live in it for Christmas, right? But their tenants, some people care about their tenants, but other ones just care about getting their money from their rental property so that they can pay for, their Christmas for their family. So they'll sell that property during Christmas time. But if you're targeting owner occupieds during Christmas time, you're not going to have much success as you could.
And to add on what Gino is saying is part of the most important piece of data is one, you want to get the most people that you can into the top of the funnel that will have the most likelihood of selling, code violations, tax delinquents, pre-foreclosures, all those people. But on the back end, by tracking the metrics, so how many text, and you want to track, these are the KPIs that you need to be tracking for the entire texting process. But you not only want to see it per texting account or all your leads that you're getting, but also per campaign set. And by campaign, I mean data set. So your list. And what I mean is you want to track how many texts you're sending, how many texts are delivering, how many responses you're getting, and then how many leads. And then that's going to help you determine, okay, now I can see how good does a list do from all the way across the same conversion cycle as that we would look at for full on texting, and I can go much deeper in this to break it down if that's a little bit too like quick or high or deep. But the quick and easy metric that we're going to look at is just text sent per lead. And right now we're sending like 20,000 texts a day, which is probably more than a lot of people are sending. Definitely more than a lot of people are sending, but we're still able to do a 200.
Oh, Colorado Wi-Fi. Colorado Wi-Fi, man. That's why you can't go to Colorado right there.
Hey. Oh, did it break up?
Yes, the Rado Wi-Fi.
No, it's actually my computer. Like sometimes has a little spin on it, but so we're at 250 texts per lead. When you're first starting out in like 2,000 to 3,000, you should be closer to like 150 to 180 texts per lead. That's what we see, at least with our clients. So, but anyways,
yeah. So again, big emphasis on data. That's where it starts, right? You got to make sure you're using the right softwares. Prop stream, you got to all say, oh, it's not the best, they're great, but hey, look, just get the big stuff here. Constantly going through that. Once you have the data, Chandler, kind of explain more before we get into actually launch control, the system, how we work it. Let's go about the process of how we filter data, because how launch control does have, some limitations on follow-ups, but how do we get around that per se, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I got you exactly what you're saying. So basically it kind of goes back. So what Gino's saying is, how do we filter data and how do we decide what to send next? And then like what time periods are we sending this data in? So number one is we need to know the whole entire, like you're sending all the text you send, you need to know how many texts it is to a lead, just for everything. It's called your baseline. Once you know your baseline, then what you're able to do is go deeper. Like what I said is per list performance. What's my per list text per lead? And then I can figure out, okay, well, if my text per lead for baseline is 200 and this list gives me a text per lead of 100, so that's twice as good. Well, common logic would tell you that you should probably send that list more frequently than the list that gives you 400 texts per lead, right? So that's how we structure when we want to send our data. So let's say I get a list today, I send it out, it's 100 texts per lead, and my normal is 200. Then I'm going to want to push that. And normally what we do is we'd follow up with a list every 30 days. That's kind of the normal frequency of follow-up, just through launch controls, automated follow-up campaigns that we'll get into later. But what we really will want to do is we want to say, okay, 100 texts per lead. So what we're going to do is we're going to send it out in 14 days, or maybe 14 to 21 days, somewhere in that time period. You can just pick a time and see how it does. And the way you do that is there's a way you can get around it with launch controls thing, because they don't let duplicates go in. Is just change the last name on there and just add like an A after the last name, or add a B or a C, and then that'll change it to where it won't upload the duplicate, and then you can get around that. So that's
explain that one more time slowly for everyone.
Yeah.
Explain it one more time. So again, launch control, if you send 100 messages out, if you get a 13% response rate, you're doing pretty good, right? Depending on your list, right? That's the big thing, right? But a big blanket list, if 13, people are responding, isn't that what expected?
Yeah, no. So we really, so let me say it again. You're gonna.
I'm not the numbers
okay.
one. So.
Let me say it one more time. So okay. So again, it's all compared to baseline. Anything that is better than baseline, we'll put no numbers in here to make it super simple. So it's all compared to baseline. Anything that's better than baseline, you want to send that list more frequently. Anything that's worse than baseline, you want to send that list less frequently. And then obviously when you're doing the numbers, you can kind of determine very simply, is it better or worse than baseline? So you want to have the baseline for your entire data set and then have it per list as well. And that baseline for texting is text sent per lead.
Got it. Now that's good. So your baseline, when to send it. Now here's the thing I was getting at, Chandler, is on launch control, if you send 100 messages out, right? Again, it's 13% a good response rate for a basic list.
Yeah,
right?
13, 12 is like where we're at. 12
to 13%, right? So you have 88 other people, if it's 12%, if you send 100 out, that did not answer you, right? It's not like they said no or no. 88% of people didn't answer you. 88 people. And so what happens to those 88 people? Well, on launch control, I believe, and a lot of these other softwares, they make you wait 2 weeks or make you wait a month to do a follow-up campaign to hit those people.
30 days.
30 days to hit those people, right? So you send out 1,000 messages, you get 130 responses, 870, you can't hit them again until you can do a follow-up campaign in a month, right? To re-hit those people that didn't respond. But what we do is we export those 870, load them up into another launch control account, and retarget them again. So again, if that's a hot list that's getting a lot of results, we're not going to just wait 1 month to hit a follow-up campaign. We're going to export that data and then put them back into another CRM, right, Chandler? Or another CRM, another launch control account.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you can do it two ways. You can do another launch control account, but if you only have one account, then you just want to change the last name to add an A on the end, so it doesn't upload as a duplicate.
Yeah, or you do Chandler said,
Yeah.
only one account.
Yeah.
And you can add, just change the last name or something.
Yeah.
Right? Or something, whatever you got. So that's that right there is worth
Honestly, the
everything.
data. So there's two pieces to the entire thing or three pieces really, is you have data. Actually, there's four. I lied. Sorry. I'm keeping
Is there
in my
sharing?
head.
There's not five.
All right. I swear there's four. All right. So, so number one is data. Number two is your templates and your copy. Number three is your textures actually doing the work. And then number four is your phone numbers. So like the four pillars, phone numbers are easy because if your delivery rate drops, then you need to change your phone numbers. The other part that tells you a little bit about it is like your response rate. Usually if your templates are bad, like they're just very long or don't actually say anything, then maybe your response rate would be a little bit lower. But usually templates is about as easy as it gets. It's just, hey, first name, are you interested in selling 123 Main Street? So the only other two things that you can really screw up would be the people actually sending the text and replying, or the data. So that's why the two things that we really want to focus on, and know that, like, for example, full transparency, we were at about 600 texts per lead, like 4 months ago. And by focusing on training our texters to understand how to reply better, we went from that to about 300, maybe like 350 or so. And then once we focus on data and putting the right data in there, we were able to get down to 250 texts per lead. And that's at scale, sending 20,000 texts a day. So that's why these are the two most important pieces of the puzzle, is data and people replying.
Yeah, and you guys, if they're just joining, we're gonna answer as many questions for the other 30 minutes. So we spent 15 minutes now. It's about 4:15. So Chandler, what you can do now, obviously go into here. Let's take a peek at some of these launch control itself. It's not that complex. Obviously, we can say that it's kind of unfair if you haven't seen it before, but go ahead, take up for the next 15 minutes. We'll go over launch control, and then we'll do a 30-minute Q&A. Again, we're just going over here quick as possible on it. So,
and any questions you guys have in the chat, you can just pop them in there, and we'll go through them later once we finish this. So,
or raise your hand too with the raise your hand app.
Hand works as well. Whatever you guys want to do. All right, let me share my screen here.
So yeah, now we'll go into launchy.
Move this over here. All right, so this is launch control. So we'll start on the dashboard right here. So you can see today is actually a little bit worse. We were at 86% and 8% reply rate. Normally we're between about 88 and 92% delivery rate. And then response rates usually 10 to 12. 12 is like our average for everything, but normally that's where it's at. So you can kind of get an understanding of what that's supposed to look like. So not every day is going to be sunshine and rainbows, but you get the gist.
Yeah,
so
it depends on what account
left,
too, what data is being used in this account. Could be,
yeah, exactly. This could even be just like
other accounts are better than others, right? Because we're using better data in certain accounts.
Exactly. We have like 11 accounts, so they are all doing different things. So let's go through just the basics of launch control in case you're not familiar with it. So you have your dashboard, it's your basic KPIs. Obviously, like main things that matter: text sent, deliverability rate, and then responses and leads. The next thing is like your inbox. Pretty simple. This is where you import data right here. And honestly, like this, we'll just start here because this is the first piece to the puzzle. It's more like you're going to have your data coming from whatever external source. For us, PropStream, skipped with batch. That's usually where it comes from. And then all we're going to do is click this import button, drag your list in here. Super straightforward. There's like even a little sample file that tells you how to do it. So if you've never done it before, I believe you guys can take care of that. Anyways, there is a skip tracer in launch control. We don't personally use it, but you can kind of see how all this works. Once you import,
go ahead before you go into the the import and stuff. Why don't you go just quickly into the features of the inbox?
Yeah, let's do it.
Patrick's not going to take your leads. Don't worry. You got bigger deals than
Patrick's coming for the leads, man. Don't worry about him. All right. So some of the features. So the inbox is really like how you keep things from falling into the cracks. So every single lead should have a category. So this one doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't, but that would be something where a manager come through. But you see how all these have these statuses, right? So it's pretty simple. The statuses, like, we'll just click on this one right here. So the statuses that we have are going to be, where are they? They're right here. So we have basically do not call. Someone says, hey, screw off, like whatever.
Very rare.
It's going to be yeah, that one never happens, honestly. So you'll never click do not call, like not even maybe once a day. And then the other ones are wrong number, pretty basic. So we use that one. Not interested, don't really use it. We do use drips. Drips are one of the most important features in launch control, and we'll explain what drips we use. But basically, if they say, hey, look, I'm not interested in selling, then we're going to put them on a 30-day drip text them every 30 days for about 4 or 5. I think it's about 6 months to 180 to 270 days, something in that time period, because we're already going to be texting them on other platforms. So that's that. And then nurture is the next step. This is how we bookmark everyone who says that they're interested. So if someone texts us and say, hey, sure, I'd sell my house, then as soon as they do that, we're going to click nurture, and that's it. So that's pretty simple. It's not like super complex. We don't use warm or hot. We just use nurture, drip, wrong number, and then do not call. So it's
that's something that you guys probably could do better than us with some of these features, but I mean, this is just what we do at the level, the scale. So again, that's just some small inbox stuff, but I just wanted to reference those types of filters. And on the top left too, you can go like campaigns, like you see Chandler right there. Yeah, like you can filter out certain campaigns. Like look at all the campaigns we have in there. If you want to do that, users even, you can add some
tags.
Users.
Yeah. Like so they do have these tags things. Like, these are the tags that we made just for internal, like not interested. NILT, by the way, is not interested long term.
Okay, we just send them right to left main if they say yes, they want to sell. Exactly. This lead will be sent to left main. So yeah, what clarifies a lead, by the way? That's what John asked. It's anyone that says yes.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who says they want to sell. And then what we do is if someone does say that they want to sell, and we'll get into all this stuff too, text conversation, but if they do say they want to sell, then we just confirm that they're actually the right owner, and then we send it over. So, all right, but let's go into this. So then all you do is like, once you import that data, like we talked about, you just create a campaign, super simple. Then what you need to do is you just need to send it out. So you just click create a batch and then like click send a bunch of times, and then it sends all the data out. In order to send templates or to send batches, you have to have templates, which I think this is an important piece to go over.
That's probably one of the biggest points right here.
It's one of the most important things. So if you don't, like, one of the roles we actually have is called a copywriter. So literally all they do all day long is just write templates so we can send them out. And there's this, essentially we name them and they get reviewed to make sure that the grammar's not horrible. And then as long as it's good, then it gets marked as reviewed and it gets sent out. So we can just click on one of these. You can also see the delivery rate, response rates, all this stuff.
But we'll just click on GTP to generate templates. I actually started doing it a little bit, but
is it working?
I mean, I told Stelly to go ahead and start. I don't know if they're using it, but it did work for some of them.
I do think it's pretty simple. So it definitely would work. So anyways, pretty basic. We're just going to say something like, hey, basically we're trying to ask them if they want to sell their property. That's pretty much it. And there's only so many ways you can say that. So like this one like sounds kind of interesting, but it's like, hey, do you still own property address? I would like to talk to you. I would like to buy it. Can we talk about a deal? So that sounds.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to read all these. Anyway, those guys. Anyway, in between those, you see the orange stuff. Those are called spinner tokens.
Mm-hmm.
They're automatically launch control. That's what I like about them. And this is kind of a bad example. Whoever copywrote this one, because they put 4 of the same word in that one, and talk is the same. So we got to. I don't know why.
Actually, the reason the thing here you can actually see because it's underlined. What they do is if it's an L, they make it a capital I. So it actually is a different word. So for deliverability rate, it's the same, and response rate's better because then you don't say so much weird stuff.
Yeah, so there's different hacks to it, but yeah, you can see still like it's all written different ways still. But anyway, so like what launch control does is it triggers a token. So on the again, what Chandler was saying, it might say, hey, do you still, and obviously there's 4 stills there, but hey, do you still, and then it'll go to the first one of the next side, own property address I'd like to buy. And anyway, long story short, all those words in there, they can scramble together. They're variations, right? So launch control will automatically change the still in the first one, and then it would change I would to the last one. Then it would say love. It can variate itself to create a lot of variations, which by the way, that's an easier way to explain this template have 160. So there's 160 variations in this template alone right here. And so that right there will prevent you, right? Because it will
send one text over time. Yeah, I guess like talking about too is like deliverability rate. The reason your deliverability rate would go low or numbers are spam is because basically the way the carriers look for it is they want to see like a spammer would be defined as someone who sends a ton of text that are all the same at one single time. So literally you send 1,000 texts at one time, like literally in the same minute, that are all saying the same thing. That's what the carrier's AI would see as a spammer. So we're basically trying to do the opposite. So by sending 160 different texts with different verbiage in each one, and then also launch control takes care of the other pieces where it's sending them out over time, dripped a long time, and then from a ton of different phone numbers. So launch control takes care of a lot of that with their system. And then all you have to do is make a template with 160 variations. And the reason why it's only 160 is because you're only sending 150 texts at one time. So there's no need to have 1,000 because you can only send 150 at one time.
When you batch out. Now go Chandler, go to negative words here on the top right.
Yeah, that's a big one right here. The negative words, where are they at right here?
Yeah. So they got random, public, blue, out of the blue, county, property, purchase, buyer, hoping, right, looking, investment, considered, person, cash. So I know someone put in there is buy one. No, it's not, according to them, right? Buy is not a negative keyword in there, right? So you obviously want COVID. You put COVID in there. I got like a 19, C19, CV19, but no, these are again, and I'm sure you can use these words like we have on there, like property, like you can use them if you just make sure. I mean, I don't see it in here. The property address, that doesn't show up. That just inserts the seller's property address. Like it links it into there, right, to make it unique. But you can maybe put some Roman numerals and I mean the Roman or Greek, letters,
Greek letters.
Put property. So there's different things like, Chandler said you put the capital I is an L, looks like. You can put Greek letters in there, like the O's that have the dots on the top. I mean, that doesn't register to the AI because it's not a true O, right? It's like a Greek O. So like different hacks like that, obviously to try to avoid them. But again, at the end of the day, it just matters again about mostly your form or these templates. And I think we'll go into more questions. I don't know why I'm answering questions right now. I said next 30 minutes. So yeah, Chandler, keep going then.
All right. Let's go into because
let's send a batch out. Can we have a batch to send?
Yeah, you can send a batch. Send a batch.
81% delivery. Don't use that formula. All right. So here, so you pick some batches. Do not use. Oh, fuck.
Should we use this one?
Do not use? Why would you use a do not?
I don't know.
Use an absentee.
We can just use let's just use this one right here. We'll do this one.
Clayton.
All right.
It's Patrick's favorite area.
All right. So you see that? Pretty simple. It should pop up a message.
Yeah, well, just let it load for a second. Did you select the formula?
Yeah, I did. Where'd the message?
That's what happens when we use the accounts. We never do anything with. All right.
So we were just sending them. So this is like the most fun part of the entire process. Is you just sit here and stare.
Works.
What?
Why is it not loading? It shows 89 characters though.
Yeah, I mean, there's something here, but
so anyway, guys,
anyways, you're just gonna do this. One thing that we did test is like you don't want to just spam click it because then it doesn't send the deliverability rate for whatever reason is like lower. That's at least how it used to be. Don't know if it's still exactly the same way. So you kind of want a little bit of time between each click.
Yeah. So Cody says they still go out. I've always seen them come up, but yeah, where Chandler in the top right was
normally.
Showing, hey, you didn't have to send the whole batch. I was just
I sent it all. I ripped that batch out. So anyways, so we're gonna go to the inbox, and basically this is where you reply. So this is actually where the work comes in. So essentially, it's pretty basic, and then if they reply, there's mainly 3 replies. Is you have a positive reply, you have a reply that makes no real sense, and then you have a negative reply. So, and what I mean by the one that makes no sense is it's like not negative or positive. So if they have a positive reply,
neutral. It's a trans neutral.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a positive reply, basically what we're going to do is just say, hey, just confirming from my records, your first name, or you're David, looking to sell 123 Main Street. And if they say yes, then we send them to the CRM. Obviously, we mark them as nurture right away and then send them to the CRM once they reply. Yeah. Now, if they don't reply, we wait an hour and then still send them to the CRM, like to Salesforce, because we want that lead to still be in our pipeline, because 40% of all the deals we do come from people who just say yes and never reply.
Yeah, so that's an important thing. Great. So Chandler, you can move off this. Let's just go back to some of the templates and go to the batches, show how we break those down on the left.
I should probably just finish the 3 replies while I'm halfway through it.
I know you're on it.
And then the second one, basically they reply in, they say like, who is this? Or, what do you want? Or something like that. Right. what we would do for that is we'd send like, hey, sorry for this out of the blue, just, just seeing if you're interested in selling 123 Main Street, something like that, right? And on that reply, what we do is we put a drip for it texts them every like 1 day, just like following up. Because basically what we're looking to do is a lot of times people won't reply and we don't know if they're positive or negative. So we just want to text them every day to make sure that we can find out if it's a positive reply or a negative reply. And then obviously once they send in a confirmation, positive, negative, take them off the drip, put them either on a long-term drip or nurture and send them to the CRM. And then obviously negative replies would be like a no. So it'd be like, okay, do you or anyone you know have the property you want to sell? Okay, great. No, long-term drip every 30 days they get texted. And then obviously the other one with the where they're like telling you to screw off. You probably will never get those, but just hit that do not call button. All right. What do you want to go over, Gino? He's over here on the.
Hold on, give me a second, Chandler. I got this emergency call.
All right, I'll take the reins. Don't worry. So we'll go over the drips. So basically, we got a couple of drips. The main one, like I mentioned, is like the not long term, not interested. So this one's 120 days. So it's like every 30 days for about 4 months. Just basically asking them, like, hey, are you still interested? We talked some time ago. Are you still interested in selling property address? That's basically all we're sending them. You can take a screenshot of these, copy them, whatever you want to do, but it's nothing really crazy. If I was to write these, I would just treat it like a completely new text and say, hey, are you interested in selling 123 Main Street? And then that's it. The other one would be that 1 day reply, which is, I think it's this one. Oh, where is it? I think it's this one. So basically that 1 day reply is something like this, or no, it's this one. Here's a no response one. All right. Basically, if they like kind of that gray area, if they hit you with something like that, and then you say, hey, who is this? Are you interested in selling 123 Main Street? Or this is Hannah. Sorry for the mess out of blue. Are you interested in selling 123 Main Street? Then we're gonna hit them with something like this. Just, are you still the owner? Just trying to reconfirm. And the goal with this is pretty simple. The goal is just, like I said, to find out if they're willing to sell or if they're not. And most people will not be willing to sell, but some people will, and you'll get more leads from that. So those are really the main things, to be honest. There's not really a ton else. The most important thing you can ever do in launch control is train your people on all because there's some really easy replies that you can't miss. And there's some that are obviously like drips, but there's also a lot that are kind of in the middle. And being able to just handle those replies much more effectively and make sure they get put on the right drip sequence so they can get contacted again later is really where the skill comes in. And I mean, so what we would do is just go through all the text. So we just scroll through. Like you guys have Loom, just this Loom software that records your screen. So you literally just click that, record your screen, and start going through all the text, and then just literally every day, 15 minutes. Okay. All right, how did this conversation go? Review it. Okay, you should, I'm not going to actually review it, but you shouldn't have said this many things. You should have blah, blah, blah. This is what you should have done, or you did a really good job here. All right, next. Anything that sticks out. Because there's a few things that happen is one, the low hanging fruit, you'll be able to look and see like a price, like this one says 2 million. And obviously that's probably a high price. But if that might be like 200K, then a lot of times like these leads aren't categorized right. Because, you could look at Zillow, and Zillow's wrong or has no Zillow value, or they don't even know, oh wait, this person like wants to sell, like why didn't we push them to the CRM? You know what I mean? So there's a ton of training. Like you want to make sure these people know what leads need to come in. That's another thing too, is it's anyone who wants to sell, and that's going to become a lead. And that's the main thing. So yeah, I guess let's roll into Q&A. So we got some questions here. Let me stop sharing my screen and open this up. All right. So Brandon said no hot. You send them straight to left main. Yep, we do. Chat GPT. Okay. Eugene, how long do you make the decision, or how did you make the decision go with launch control versus other service like REI Reply? I don't even know if REI Reply was around 4 years ago, but I mean, launch control has, compared to what I've seen, the highest delivery rate. There was like 2 years ago, someone did a survey on all the different major text platforms about delivery rate and response rate. Launch control was by far the highest on all of those. So like there was nothing even close. And so if you think about it, like if you're able to get another, call it 25 leads a month from what you're doing, and you have to spend another $250 to get those 25 leads. Is that worth it for you? Is it worth it for you to spend $250 to get 25 leads where it's 100 leads to get you a deal to make 25K? I would probably take that guess and say that would be worth it to make another $20,000 by spending $1,000. So that's basically why. Aren't buy sell? No, I don't. Okay, we talked about that. Does LC change out numbers? We swapped them a while ago with batch, but LC said there's no way to do that. We don't have to worry about it. Yes, they do change out numbers. You just ask for a new market. And then the thing is, if your delivery rate, so here's the order of operations. If your delivery rate's low, is one, you got to redo the templates, make all new templates. That's number one. Then number two is to then say, did these templates change? Did the template change increase my delivery rate? Okay, it did. Then your phone numbers are fine. Your templates are just spam. Now, if you still have a crappy delivery rate after doing that, then you probably want to buy a new set of phone numbers. And you just do that by buying a new market. At least that's what we do.
All right, sorry about that.
All good. When someone texts back and says they're interested, do you keep texting them or do you put them on a phone call right away? Yeah, 100%. As soon as they say that they're interested and they confirm that that's them, the only thing we're doing next is our sales team is calling them to set them up to an appointment. Mike, I'll get to you in just a second. I see your hands raised. I'm just going to finish going through these chat questions to make sure we get them all. Cody asked, does that for me too? Okay, yeah. Hold that enter button. Blake, what's your process for whenever a lead gets into CRM? Okay, that's a little bit deeper question. I can put that down to answer that after. How do you have enough data to send 20,000 messages a day? Okay, good question.
It's another deeper one, probably.
Another deep one. All right, we'll stop here because we got some deep questions. Mike, I'm gonna let you unmute and then we'll go into some of the other ones. So also you guys who wrote some of these deeper questions in, if you guys want to raise your hand and ask them.
Yeah, that's probably better.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, yes. First off, appreciate you guys doing this. I know it's the golden nugget for you guys. Really appreciate you guys doing it. So first question is, you say that let's say the 88%, that non-response rate, you're gonna extract them and put into a different account. I mean, or a different loss campaign, right? Yeah. But as far as I see it, the loss control, they have the drip sequence feature available. So my question is, why don't you put that no response to on the campaign, drip campaign?
Yeah, good question. So we are doing that. We are putting it on the follow-up campaign. We're doing that for sure. The only reason you would want to export that list and take all the no responses and contact them again on another account is if that list performed really well compared to baseline.
Go quick. So let me ask you this, Chandler, just to help Mike out. If you send those 88 people, you can put those 88 people on a drip.
You can put those 88 people on a follow-up campaign every 30 days within the launch.
Yeah. Control. So you can't put those people on a drip, Mike, because they never came back into your messages because they never sent you a message back.
No. Okay. That makes sense because when, Chandler showed the screen, I saw he had the drip campaign that say no response. So my impression is, was that the one for the people, the 88 people that no respond?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, that's a good question though. Good clarity. Good question, so yeah, the note that drip specifically is for the people who say like, who is this? Let's say that's their answer, right? And we send them a message like, hey, this is Hannah. Sorry for the miss out of blue. Are you interested in selling 123 Main Street? Something like that, right? And then we're waiting on them to reply to us to where we can figure out if they have a positive or negative reply. Does that make sense? And then that's why we put the no response.
And they don't respond.
Which texts them like every day, every day or every couple days, just to make sure we can figure out if they're a positive or negative reply, and we can get more leads that way.
Okay. So it makes sense. So I just want to confirm you guys don't mind. Is you're gonna have them, let's say 100 people on the campaign, and it will go through like a no response, that no response drip for let's say 30 days, I think. And then if whoever doesn't, like the 88 people that still doesn't respond after that 7 or 8 SMS sequence, now you extract them and put on a different campaign. I mean, another
So
lot.
yeah, Chandler confused you, right? So here it is, Mike. You target those 88 people, right? You send 100 text guys, 12 of them answer, right? You have 12% response rate. The other 88 on launch control, it doesn't allow you to follow up with them for a month. So you can't put drips on them. You don't even know because they never went into your account, into your chat, right? The inbox, because they never responded. So you can't even put a drip. You only can put people that responded to your inbox. So that 88 people, what we do, instead of waiting a month to do a follow-up campaign, not drip, follow-up campaign, because again, you can't put a drip on them yet because they haven't gone into your inbox. So instead of waiting a month, we just do it the next day. We export them, either change their last name so that the 88 can go right back into another campaign, like you referenced, another batch, or you can put them into another account. And that way you don't, wait 30 days.
Gotcha. So basically it's because of the restriction on the launch control program, that software that doesn't allow you to do that unless they respond.
It's probably good they don't, because if they have everyone hitting every single person right after the next day they answered, how many people are going to be pissed off?
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah,
a lot. And so imagine doing that at scale with them, where they got millions of messages being sent out for their company for other users. We're just kind of screwing them on that, but we'll just teach you guys that.
So, I mean, if you do only have one account, you don't have two. Like I said earlier, you can just change add to the last name, like an A or an AB or a B or whatever it is. All right.
All right, so yeah, we got Brandon up. Yeah, we got Brandon up here, so we'll answer some.
Yeah, quick question. So yeah, you'd mentioned anytime somebody responds in launch control, or are you kind of stopping all communication in launch control and then resuming that in your CRM, or are they happening both? Like, how do you guys kind of process that?
Yeah, it's just going to be in the
communication stops in launch control and then everything happens in your CRM.
Yep.
And usually they try to ask a little more, right? They just say yes right on them, but like usually within 5 to 10 minutes, they're just going to push that lead anyway.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
For sure. All right, cool. All right, Alex, the boys.
What's up? How you guys doing?
How are y'all?
Good. Been reviewing a lot of different people's stuff on it, and some people are like, oh yeah, no, like we only use property radar because the data quality is better, and then we use this skip trace or whatnot. Have you, because you guys have been doing this a lot longer than we have, I was just curious if
to be honest, like we just know it works for us pretty well. The other skip tracer property radar we've heard is good. The other one that's a good skip tracer we've heard from a pretty trusted source would be Skip Genie. That's another thing that they use for LLCs. So I mean, to answer your question, like nothing too text per lead, and they were at like 300. It was a lot cheaper, so it's like tier 2 data. But we're like, okay, it doesn't really make sense to get half the performance, half the amount of leads for a little bit less money when you could just.
that's something.
Yeah, I mean, we tested before, of course, and we just found that, there's we've tested skip tracers. That's why we expensive, but it's also, again, where we clean up with people. I mean, we filter through them, and then obviously just talking with other people that are doing it bigger than on a lot of the stuff they, which they're doing kind of similar things. They're doing kind of similar things, right? Pretty general. No answers.
That I was kind of talking to Alex about too, in terms of the data. I was like, well, would it make a lot more sense for us to actually be creating much more niche lists, like something you can do in Property Radar, where you can like, oh, they got VA loans or whatever, and then your messaging for your campaigns of more personalized messages versus like high equity absentee.
100%. Yeah. For pre-foreclosure stuff, like we have pre-foreclosure messaging that we have.
Yeah, we change our templates based on the list.
Next day, 19,000 of them are all to very broad people. So, or more, probably like 19,500. So yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Thanks.
For sure. So Paul,
you gotcha. No, you're good.
Clicked on Paul's link. We're both on the call, so I was like, "Who's Paul?"
Oh, yeah, no,
yeah. So, good stuff. I guess I had a couple questions. I noticed, like, as far how do you guys feel as far as, is anyone stopping you from taking out the opt-out language, or do you guys include it sometimes, remove it? Like, how do you
I think
guys
we do include it. Let me look, because
launch
control makes you do it for 18. It's just the rules now.
Okay.
Like, I don't think you can get away with it. Actually, no,
pretty
you
sure it's
can.
automatic.
Yeah, it might be even automatic.
Okay.
Yeah, if they want to. Yeah, if they want to sell their property. Like, if someone really wants to sell their property, they're going to say,
like opting out, who would just be like drip people, but you know what I mean? Like they would be like not interested.
All right, fair enough. And then the second part to that, I don't know if you guys answered this already, but as far as like
on like the quality of the lead, like if it's a pre-foreclosure lead, then it's going to be much more frequent, like 10 times in the first month, than if it's like a absentee owner. So it really goes off of the quality of person who said like, yeah, I think about selling my house. You know what I mean? So that's how we would build it, right? Which basically means like standard is 30 days for just a normal list. And then if it's better than baseline, then we're going to send it, maybe like Gino.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then if it's, like for our Audantic data, which is more niche, like we have 45,000 records of highly targeted AI, like, data set, whatever that.
Awesome, boys. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So we got a couple other questions here. Let's see if there's any quick ones, and then I'm gonna go. 50-50. So if someone said no, you still push it to the CRM. No, if they say no, then we put them on a drip campaign and in launch control. Do you guys have an affiliate link to get a discount? Yes, we do. Gino, you want to drop that in the chat?
But here's the problem. And I said, can we get something? What I would do is, if you guys sign up with the link that we have, the guy said that he will be able to stuff and value here, but also as well as you can get a lot more. We'll probably keep releasing more things, and we'll discount. I actually called up the owner of Launch Control, say and talked to someone and like a fucking asshole. I was like, can I have a discount on your service? Like pretty much contact with this guy that can help you with your software and process. So I already tried, John, just to count, and you get a lot of people sign up. We can give scripts, they get some of your, obviously we can't share text templates. I know a lot of people tell me, hey, share me your text templates. Like if I share it to you, then we're both going spam in the next day or two, right? So that's why everyone has to have unique ones. But yeah, Chandler, I actually can't find it right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to pull it up.
There, I got it.
It's probably not the most prepared thing to do, but let me go through some of these questions. Yeah, Pat, I saw your thing about the Excel. Do Excel, look on Google. Chandler probably knows how to do it, but Google, that's how you can change pretty simple like names all at once, add an A to them.
Yeah, I think I have man, we were talking about this the other day.
John helped with that.
In one of the calls for a mastermind, and
Mike, do you have another question?
I can't find it.
Yeah, all right. Get Mike on. Chandler, you find that link, I'll answer some of Mike's
I already
questions.
put it in there.
Okay.
Are you hear me?
Gotcha.
So my question is, Chandler mentioned earlier that, he had some base research, or not his base research, but he saw some that say Launch Control had the high delivery rate. So my question is, what's the average delivery rate that you guys been seeing on, like an average campaign, good campaign, low campaign, so I can have some benchmark to decide?
90 to 92.
Yeah.
90% to 92% is the benchmark
for delivery.
That's
good. That's really good.
I would say even I used to hear this from the lead Sherpa guys, like 85% up is where you're good.
Yeah, I looked at it for last month. Out of like 600,000 texts or something like that, we sent, it was like 91%.
That's pretty good. You look at the one today, it's at freaking 86%.
Yeah, 80, not showcasing case.
It's not helping you, man. It's not helping your case.
Last month is what.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the other question is, because I'm checking pricing on Launch Control right now. The monthly fee is not bad, but it doesn't say anything about price per test. So is there a price per test? Then how much will it be?
That's your subscription. It's included.
It's included?
Yeah, your text.
Oh, so like it doesn't matter how many tests I have, it's included within the monthly payment?
Yeah, so you have a certain amount of daily texts that you can send that are new, and that's what's in there. And then is all the follow-ups, are they still free? Do you know that, Gino? I think they changed it actually recently. So anyways, it tells you how many texts you can send with
per day
here. So that's it just tells you that underneath. It's like I think like it's like 1,200, 2,400. It's like
someone else might know better.
1,200, 2,400 based on the tiers.
Okay. And do you guys use the free incoming call feature? Let's say you have a tester that's doing it for you, and someone call back just to see if it's a spam robocall. It used to happen to me before.
Yeah. So So no, said that they said you get free incoming messages and calls, and you get 10,000 outbound text. Okay, so there's your answer. Yeah, outbound messages. So they do count your messages, but you got up to 50,000. And look, that's why you're soft. Everyone's different, but that's what's good for us on our LMs is because we have a lot of LMs, lead managers. So as soon as someone says yes, we only ask them one question, if that, and push them. So we're not wasting a lot of our messages in through conversation. We try to get them on the phone ASAP. But Mike, to answer your question, yeah. So wait, hold on. Can you say it again? Actually, I just went
It's
blank.
the call flow. Yeah.
Call
if they
flow.
call in,
Fuck, call flow. Damn it. It was
go
right on
ahead.
the tip of my tongue. I know it. We put a don't tell me. Hold on. No, we put I'm trying to find the
IVR.
name of it. But
IVR.
if when someone calls in, they what is it, Chandler?
IVR.
IVR. Yeah, IVR. So
IVR.
they call in, Mike. They say press 1 if they want to sell, press 2 if they do not, if you want to get put on the do not call list. Now, a lot of times people press 1, even though they don't, they're hostile. That's fine. It's going to happen, right? So at the end of the day, you're just gonna have to be able to filter those people out. But what we did for a year, like retards, maybe more than a year, we said, let's just put that number to a voice, and then we'll call those people back later. Even like put the people that pressed 1 that said they wanted to sell, let's put them to a voicemail. As soon as we put them back into actually calling our LMs, we locked up like 3 contracts in the first week from inbound calls. Yeah, we got some bad ones, but we were losing. In that case, we probably lost, hundreds of thousands. We probably lost over 100,000 by doing that because we would try to reach the seller back, and probably they don't answer.
A month,
Right.
At least 30K a month. It's like 400 grand.
Yeah. So.
Okay. No, that's sweet, man. And I have last question. If you don't mind, I don't want to take too much
go ahead.
time. So I'm an agent in LA, but I've been also do wholesaling mostly for residential. My partner and I are now looking to do wholesaling in commercial, like commercial, not small multifamily, commercial. So do you have any recommendation in terms of like skip tracing those number? Because a lot of these guys put their property on, like an LLC or like a corp, entity, and it's really hard to like get a hold of them.
Yeah, so like we talked about, there's a one buyer sonar is through Audantic. I don't know if you can sign up without having Audantic. They do really good skip tracing through LLCs. IDI does do good skip tracing through LLCs too. There's different skip tracers that are better through LLCs. You can still skip through an LLC by using the first the name in the skip tracer as LLC, and then use the mailing address.
Yeah, I know some other people too. I know some other people too who just like go on Fiverr and like have found someone to manually skip them all for LLCs, and that's like a little bit more expensive, but I've personally never done it, but heard it's had better results.
Yeah, I mean, you can personally skip, you just go to the agent, but that just takes too long. It depends how much you're doing, right?
Right. Okay.
But at the same time, like you can use some of these providers to skip LLCs.
You say IDA?
IDI.
Yeah,
they make you create an account. We just use our buddies, or I think he has like an affiliate account that I don't know how he does it actually, where he gets like a mass amount per month, and we just use some of his. But IDI, you can use batch for LLCs.
Is that IDIdata.com? I just want to make sure that I got the right one.
Yeah, IDI data.
Perfect. I appreciate that, guy.
Cool.
No problem.
Cool.
What else we got, guys?
How do you mass export or update a list of 5K non-responders in that letter? Pat asked that. I'll try to find that out. Find someone smarter than you, I guess. Probably Google, but I think there's a formula.
Oh no, there is a formula. He answered, and I think answered.
Oh, okay, they did. They used to charge 100. They used to charge and.
I think Pat was saying, oh no, John was saying something about it. But which power are you using? Do you guys air call or something? Managing your lead manager calls. We use Smart Dialer. It just integrates with our CRM.
There was a question up here I think that we could go into. Probably like not all of it, but just like super high levels. What process do you use once it leads into the CRM? So basically day one, as soon as they come in, they get 3 double dials, assuming they don't answer, right? And then when they get put, the first time they don't answer on a double dial, they get put on a drip campaign, and it texts them every day for 14 days. And then it's after that, it's like every like 5 days. And after a while, like maybe 2 months, it's every like week and a half. And that's kind of the process. And we call them pretty much, so that we actually just wrote this out on Google Doc. Let me see if I can just tell you word for word exactly what it is. Okay, so basically in the first, the simple one, because ours is a little bit more complex, the simple thing is for the first 14 days, call them at least 4 times a day. And if you do that, then you'll contact way more people. Because what that is your no contacts, right? So all the people who never contact you in SMS, which is a huge percent of them, is you need to text them every day for at least 14 days, and you need to call them at least 4 times, which is 2 double dials for 14 days. And then doing that one thing took us from contacting about 40 to 45% of our leads to contacting about 85 to 90% of our leads. So that's it. That's going to help you a lot with SMS. Cody asked how you have enough data to send 20,000 messages per day. In our database, we have 750,000 skipped prospects. So if you text everyone once a month, that works out to 600,000. So that would be how. I don't know if that's a pretty terrible answer, but I'm not really sure how else to answer it in another way.
Just recycling data. That's a
Yeah,
simple
exactly.
answer.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things I'd say that was like a concern is like, what happens once you text all the data you have in your city? Like, what happens when you text them once? Well, like, what do? You can't pull more new data. All you got to do is just go and recycle the old people you've texted.
You can refresh once every,
them.
quarter or two, but
Exactly.
but yeah, Mike, 4,000, it's $4 a day. They get 2, 2, and 2. They get 2 and 2.
Yep.
A nudge. My bad, a nudge. Smart dialer, smartphone it's for Podio and also Salesforce, but yeah, you can use the dialer. They have a dialer as well. More than a one-line dialer. I don't know the answer to this one by Paul. So it's a good one. Do you contact mobile 1 and then mobile 2 if it's wrong and stop there? Do we do just one number?
No. So what we do is we take all the phone numbers, the first 3 mobiles, and then we put them like we contact all the first 3 mobiles. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So first 3 mobiles. There's our answer.
So any other questions, guys? Anything that you didn't have clarity on or feel like you might need moving forward?
Yeah, so what we'll do, guys, if you sign up with that link, what we'll do is we'll do another private Zoom going over it in more detail. And for everyone that signs up for that. And if you already have launch control, if you put us there, hey, look, these guys backfilled me, helped us with the software. That would work too. And then we can go in there and we can do exactly that. Do some more one-on-one trainings with the, in a smaller set, maybe 10, 15 of us into the accounts and talk about it there. Paul said, what's the goal for this year on deal? What's the goal for this year on deals? You meant on deals? I don't know. Do we have a goal, Chandler, for it?
We haven't really established one. I mean, we want to do
total
about
deals,
3.5. We want to do about 3.5, which would be about 120.
120 deals. Probably at least 200 contracts.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit less than that, but either way, thanks for coming on, guys. Hope we gave some value. Hit us up on Instagram. Appreciate Mike. I hit up LA, man. Hit you up. But yeah, hit us up on Instagram if you're not following us. We put a lot of stuff out on there. And just by our names here, you can look us up. And thanks again for coming out. Appreciate it on a 4 o'clock. I know on a Wednesday, it's not the most fun time, but thanks again. And we'll talk to you guys.
That's right. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for coming.
See you, boys and girls.